All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a video on alcohol and showing that according to the Bible, all right, I don't care about no other books, all right, according to the Bible, you are allowed to drink alcohol, all right, because you've got all these other different religions out there that think that they're super righteous and they'll have a problem with alcohol, but then they ain't got a problem with all the other wickedness that they're doing in this world. But they'll try and think they're righteous because they can't drink alcohol, but then they're not righteous enough to not sell alcohol. So that just goes to show the hypocrisy of these people. They'll look down on people that drink alcohol, right? But they're happy to make money from people that buy alcohol and drink alcohol. That's like me saying I'm tired of these crackheads around my area, right? Let's say I'm living in an area that's got full of a whole bunch of crackheads in there, but I'm the top drug dealer. But that don't make any sense, does it? And that would be a form of hypocrisy, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this video here. Let me play this.
Obviously, you've been shortchanged again working for us. Fucking come work for us.
You farted when you were speaking, then?
No,
Little squeaker.
go on, Fred. What's this? 40%. Show them how you do it, Fred. You soldier, you Fred. I'll tell him to put your wages up, mate. It ain't right you coming over here for drinks.
Poor kid's thirsty.
Fuck, we gotta feed him more fucking ass.
Oh, you know he's done on that bus on the way in.
Go on, Fred.
Right, now you got to hit him over there with a bottle.
He's just done a
Fair
bottle
play.
of Fred. And he's got work in the morning with Ashton. I'll be there. Help me out. Help me out. You're strong. You're strong. You're really strong. You're strong. You're strong.
Right, so as you saw there, that's the result of what ends up happening to you if you just love alcohol and you love being a heavy drinker, right? You end up looking like a fool, right? And I was thinking of words for drunk earlier this morning, so I decided to look up, I thought of the particular word inebriated, which means drunk, intoxicated, all right? And then it gave an example of how to use the word. I got mildly inebriated. So then I decided to look up all the different synonyms that it shows below. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different words here for being drunk, right? So let's read some of them. Drunk, intoxicated, inebriate, drunken, tipsy, worse for drink, under the influence, blind drunk, rolling drunk as a lord, as drunk as a skunk, gin soaked, sottish, tight, merry, the worse for wear, pie-eyed, free sheets to the wind, plastered, smashed, hammered, sloshed, soused, sozzled, well-oiled, paralytic, wrecked, wasted, blotto, stewed, pickled, tanked up, soaked, blasted, ratted, off one's face, out of one's head, out of one's skull, legless, bevied, Brams and lists. I never even heard that one. Brams and lists. Half cut, out of it, lashed, bladdered, trolleyed, mullered, slaughtered, well away, squiffy, tiddly, out of one's box, foul, loaded, trashed, out of one's gourd, blitzed, ripped, jacked, turnt. That's a Jake one, which a lot of these are Jake ones anyway, man. Turn up. I'm turned right now. I'm lit. That's another one. I'm lit. I'm turned. I'm toe up from the flow up, right? There's a whole bunch of, and I'm just making a point that there's a whole bunch of different terms and slang uses and stuff like that for saying I'm drunk. In one's cup, lit up, tired and emotional, sotted, foxed, screwed, crapulent, crapulous, bibulous, ebriate. You see what I mean? Rat-arsed, arseholed, right? There's a whole bunch of words for being drunk, man, right? Now, I'm just going to quickly show that according to the Bible, we can drink alcohol, man, because you got a lot of people out there, right, that will try and say you can't drink alcohol, and that's not true. This is Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 6. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be heavy of hearts. So if there's a person that they're just catching all types of hell, right, you can give them a bit of drink, man. They can have a bit of drink, right? And it goes into why. Verse 7, let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. So for the time while he'll be having that alcohol, he'll forget a few of his sorrows, man. However, we know that there's balance according to the Bible because Yahweh deals with balance. So he puts it in our minds to think of the balance, because if you're just catching hell and then you just say, you know what, I'm going to drink alcohol to forget all my sorrows, I'm going to drown my sorrows, right? That's another name for getting drunk, drowning your sorrows. But if you decide to just drown your sorrows and think that you can forget about the sorrows, that doesn't make the sorrow go away. So ultimately, you would still have to face the situation that's in front of you, man. You still have to face the situation that's in front of you. But a lot of the time, like this particular situation as well, would be going into a situation where a man is actually about to die. That you could give him strong drink, and you see that in certain movies where the guy might, certain war movies or whatever, where the guy might have had his leg blown off, right? So then they give him some vodka or something like that, and they just make him drink that so that he can forget the pain that he's in, man. It can act as a painkiller in certain situations, right? And then that man will forget his pain as he's perishing away from the earth. But we're not supposed to do like what that person did in that video, where they were just smashing that drink, smashing down a bottle of whiskey in 30 seconds. That would have felt horrible, man. And I deliberately tried, well, I was trying to find videos of Jake, to be fair, I ain't gonna lie. I tried to find videos of Jake, but I couldn't find that many videos of Jake doing it. But we know that they do it, though. We know that our people do this. Let me go to this. Because I decided to look up several different, I went into the scriptures. I went on Open Bible to find loads of videos on alcohol. So let's read some of them. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 18 in the ESV. A lot of these scriptures that I'm going to read are going to be in the ESV. But if you've got a King James Version Bible, it won't make a difference. You'll be able to go to your King James Version and you'll be able to also find these scriptures, because the Open Bible doesn't really use, as far as I can see, it doesn't really use King James versions, the King James Version of any Bible verse. So let me go into it. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 18. And do not get drunk with wine, for that is the spirit of debauchery, but be filled with the Spirit. So don't get drunk with wine, the scriptures say. Whereas you've got other religions that they try and think that they're righteous, right? Because they don't drink wine or they don't drink alcohol, even though I can clearly see that a whole bunch of them do drink alcohol. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll say who I'm talking about, man. You got a lot of these Muslims out here that they say they're frightened out when they're like righteous because they don't drink alcohol. But I've known plenty of Muslims and they drink alcohol, so they always end up giving in to drink alcohol anyway. They always ended up drinking it anyway. But then they fast for the 30 days or whatever, and then they'll think that they're right. No, you drink alcohol, bro. Don't lie. They be drinking it anyway. So there's no point of them saying they don't drink it to try and sound righteous, but then they're drinking it behind the scenes. They drink it, man. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1. And even if let's say they don't drink it, they're doing things that according to the Bible are sins, but then they'll say they believe in the Torah. Or we believe in the Torah, but the rest's been changed. No, you don't believe in it then. Because if you believed in the Torah, you would see what it says in there, right? And you would do the things that it says in there. You would see that the laws that are written in there, and you would do them. So you wouldn't be eating. Let me say it, man. You wouldn't be eating camel, right? You wouldn't be eating no camel, would you? If you believed in that, if you believed in the Torah as you claim, but you don't believe in the Torah, do you? And you say that they also say that they believe in the Messiah, right? But you don't believe in the Messiah, do you? Let's be real, you don't believe in him. Because if you did believe in him, you'd believe the book that speaks about him the most, which is the Bible. And the Bible said that he drank alcohol. He turned water into wine. He came eating and drinking, and they said he's got a demon on him. But John didn't come eating and drinking, and they said that he's got something wrong with him too. So either way it goes, if you're speaking the truth according to the Bible, people are gonna have a problem with it, whether you drink alcohol or you don't. And there's brothers out there that drink alcohol, but there's brothers out there that don't drink alcohol. But people are gonna have a problem with each brother because they're speaking the truth. So one person might say, "Oh man, he don't drink alcohol." A scoffer might say, "Oh, he don't drink alcohol, but look at his clothes though. He ain't up to date with the latest fashions." But then another person might drink alcohol and they say, "Oh, he's an alcoholic, man," but he's not even an alcoholic. But they'll say, "Oh, he's an alcoholic. I thought he ain't supposed to drink wine," because they're just looking for anything to try and attack the character of that person because of the word that they speak of. And that's how this wicked world is, man. Right? So let me carry on reading. This is Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1. Wine is a mocker, and strong drink a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. So you just saw an example of it right there. That guy had work in the morning, according to that video, right? But what did he do? He decided to smash down a whole bottle of whiskey in 30 seconds, even though he knew that he had work in the morning. That's stupid. And that wine and that strong drink ended up mocking him. He was stumbling on the floor, smashed all over to the side, and fell into the. You know what? Let me show it. He stumbled all over the floor, smashed into the gate. Right? Let's go. Strong drink is wine is a mocker, and strong drink is raging. He's a brawler. He ended up making himself look like an idiot, man. And when you go, if you've ever been a person that's went to any nightlife situation or whatever, there's a thing called Dutch courage, which is where people get drunk and then all of a sudden they become a tough guy, man. And I've seen that happen on many occasions where people get drunk and their whole way of being changes, man. And it can even do it to us. It's even if we're being honest with ourselves, there's even been times in our life where we've drank alcohol and it's changed how we act, man, because you act differently. And there's a whole reason why the term for alcohol is called spirits. Because if you're drinking too much of that, you're putting spirits on yourself, man. Let me carry on reading. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 1. Wine is a mocker and strong drink a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 23. No longer drink only water, but use a little wine for the sake of your stomach and your frequent ailments. So the Bible says we can drink wine for our ailments. So what are these people talking about where they're saying that we can't drink alcohol? That's not true. It's not true, man. All right? Let me carry on. This is Romans chapter 14 and verse 21. It is good not to drink meat or drink wine or do anything that causes your brother to stumble. Now, some people might say, see, the Bible's got contradictions in there. No, it don't, man. It's just that other people don't have the understanding for what these Bible verses are talking about. What this particular situation will be talking about is that if there's certain foods, right? If there's certain foods that brothers might have a problem with you eating, right? They might say, oh, that's halal meat, right? But you're eating it. What the brother that's eating that halal meat is eating that meat because and what I mean by halal meat is that a meat that like maybe a person that's into Islam might have cut and prayed over and all of that, right? But a brother might eat that meat and he's just thinking, well, I understand that they've did this to over the meat, but I believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, so I can eat that meat and my conscience is clear because I know I ain't worshipping the gods of other nations. But another brother that might be less in faith and have a less stronger foundation might see him do that and be like, oh, I see, why is he on that Islam thing? You see what I mean? But that's not what that brother would be doing. He'd just be drinking that alcohol. I mean, eating that food because he's hungry, not for no wickedness. Because the scriptures do clearly let us know that we're under curses, and that we have to go to our enemy and the one of all things. So you might say, "Oh, I didn't eat the halal one, but I go Tesco's and get mine." Well, that means if you went to Tesco's to get yours, you went to Esau to get it instead of Ishmael, and Esau's an even bigger heathen than Ishmael. Esau's the worst heathen nation. And in the second part of this verse, it says, or drink wine or do anything to cause their brother to stumble. So if you're around a particular brother that might not drink alcohol, for the sake of your brother like not stumbling or losing faith or being like, what the hell's going on here, you might not drink alcohol in front of him because you don't want him to see that side of you drinking alcohol, man. Right? But that doesn't mean that you can't drink alcohol when you're around other people, or when you're by yourself, you can't drink alcohol. That don't mean that. This is Isaiah chapter 5 verse 11. Woe to those who rise early in the morning, that they may run after strong drink, who tarry late in the evening, as wine inflames them. And that's that whole university alcoholism spirit, man. Right? That whole down in pints. Down it, down it, down it, down it. Whoa, hey. Well on, mate. Fair play, mate. What a legend, mate. What a legend. All that dumbass shit. That's all that. Yeah, smashing Jaeger bombs down your face. Instead of just sipping your wine or sipping your alcohol, you gotta down it in 10 seconds. Why? So that you can be cool and be down. And some of us have did these dumb things in our life. And that's why there's certain days in our lives that we might not even remember, man. Or certain days or certain time frames in our life that we're embarrassed of, man. That cause us to act like an idiot. This is Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 22. Woe to those who are heroes at drinking wine, and valiant men in mixing strong drink. So that's that mixer spirit. Or I'm making an alcohol punch, a punch bowl. You know? That's that. The scriptures say woe to those people, because eventually they're gonna get drunk. They might be drunk in a house with another woman. She might be pretty, right? She might have a man though. So then now what's gonna happen? Some adultery. And then you're gonna be worthy of getting destroyed. Or you might get into a fight with a guy when you're drunk and smack him over the head with a bottle, and now you could potentially end up killing him. But you wouldn't have did it if you were sober. And that's why the scriptures say that we're not supposed to be valiant in drinking. We're not supposed to drink to get drunk. But there's nothing wrong with drinking wine. As I already showed, the scriptures say, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish. And the scriptures also say, let me see if I can remember. Let me see if I can find it in here. Yeah, it says, take a little wine for your ailments. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 23. No longer drink only water, but use a little wine for the sake of your stomach and your frequent ailments. So the scriptures say we can drink wine for our ailments, man. So who are we going to believe? Are we going to believe a human telling us not to drink alcohol? Or are we going to say that we're going to drink it because Yahweh said we can drink it? But then also be respectful and know that if there's certain people that we're around, we might not drink alcohol around them, because we know that we might change and we might become a bit more merry or whatever. So the way how we act is going to be different than what that particular person is used to seeing us act like. And that person might have more respect for us, but then could lose respect if they see us drunk. And this goes for people that might not even be people that believe that they're Israelites. It might just be your woman or whatever. It might just be your brother, your sister, your parents. You might not you're not going to drink the same way around your parents as you would around your brothers. You're not going to do that. Let me carry on. This is Galatians chapter 5 and verse 21. Envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these, I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. So that's a warning to not be on that alcoholism spirit, man. It's a warning right there. To not be an alcoholic when you're drinking alcohol. to not be an alcoholic when you're drinking wine, to not be showing how skilled you are at downing a pint in 10 seconds, and then you're drunk all over the place, smashing yourself from pillar to post. But the Bible does say that we can drink wine. I've just got to say that again. We can drink wine. Yahweh Shai like to drink wine, man. So if that's the perfect example, then no one can't tell us nothing outside of that. Because Yahweh Shai drank wine. I'm going to say it again. Yahweh Shai drank wine. This is Romans chapter 13 and verse 13. Let us walk properly as in the daytime, not in orgies and drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and sensuality, not in quarreling and jealousy. So we're supposed to be wise as well. We're not supposed to just be running around going overboard, man. And that goes into balance. If you know that in times past, if you might have been a bit of an alcoholic, man, but then you gotta ease up off that wine. You ain't supposed to be just downing alcohol, and then as soon as you get around people showing how much you can. Oh, I used to be mad at drinking, Watch this, bruv. You ain't supposed to do that, because then it makes you start thinking that you're bigger than you are. You might be 5'8", but you start drinking alcohol, and you're like, you know what? I'm 7'5" today, and you start thinking more of yourself than you are, and acting stupid, man. And then you might say something to offend somebody, or do something to offend somebody. This is Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 20 to verse 21. Be not among drunkards or among gluttonous eaters of meat, for the drunkard and the glutton will come to poverty, and slumber will clothe them with rags. So you ain't supposed to just be on that like stuff in your face, overboard and drunkard spirit neither. You ain't supposed to be like that. But there's balance, because there's nothing wrong with somebody throwing a feast for their people, man. But there is a thing where you start thinking that that's the way to be, and then that's what makes people start gathering around you. But then it goes into balance, man. And the main topic of this video, the reason why I made it is because there's a lot of people that think that they're righteous out here, and they say they don't drink alcohol. But if you was to analyze them, they're wicked anyway. And the Bible says you can drink alcohol. So these people are not exempt from judgment because they don't drink alcohol, because they're wicked anyway. And the Bible doesn't have a problem with drinking alcohol. It does have a problem with going overboard with it, though. Right? And I just thought I'd make this video anyway, man. It's just like, if you go into Open Bible and type in alcohol, you'll see plenty of verses that say that you can drink alcohol, but then you'll see a load of other verses that will go into not drinking it overboard. You'll see plenty, right? You'll see plenty, man. And on that, I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.